Hello and welcome to a TV Enthusiast YouTube video special where we are going to be discussing Season 5, Episode 2 of Game of Thrones. Joining me is Will from our site.
Hello.
And so I saw this episode right after the pilot at a party I was throwing for Game of Thrones, and we just had to watch it because it leaked and we wanted to be able to see the two episodes, but I wasn't. I didn't want to watch the rest of the episode, so I stopped it after two. But I missed watching it live when it was on, so I'm glad I didn't watch any more past that. So next week I'll be able to watch it kind of when it's on with everything else. But this episode finally brought back Arya. And that's, I think, the thing I was most excited about seeing this entire season. So,
Yeah.
what were your general thoughts of the episode?
I thought it was much better than last episode. There's a lot
Hmm.
more interesting going on. Definitely the stuff with Arya, because I think her storyline is so far the most interesting of the ongoing storylines.
Yeah.
I want to see what's inside that house, the House of Black and White. You know, this is big building with like this black door and a white door, and what kind of crazy stuff goes on in there? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a mystery that's not solved in this episode. But but
But we got to see kind of the idea of how important that is to the people of Bravos and how big of a
right,
deal that is.
yeah, it is a huge deal. Definitely the return of a fan favorite character from Arya's past
Oh
returns.
yeah, Jaqen.
Jock, yep. I was
Or
like,
as he said, he is no one.
he is no one.
Yes.
He can be anyone.
Yeah.
He is, and I guess I don't know. Maybe like part of like Arya going into that place, maybe Jaqen will teach her his skill, or she will learn that. I'm not sure. I don't. And I'm not basing that on anything. I haven't read the books. I don't know. That's speculation.
She's gonna learn some Death Genie skills.
Yep.
To those who might not know, I constantly refer to Jaqen as the Death Genie because he offered to take 3 lives for Arya.
Oh.
So, outside of Arya, I might touch on that a little bit more later because she is like my favorite character on the show right now. But we got to see Dorne for the first time. Dorne was represented to us last season from Oberyn Martell, amazing character, and we kind of got this idea of kind of what Dorne was through him. It's interesting because they established kind of a whole culture of a place through a single character, really. Well, 2 characters, but mostly him.
Mostly, yep. Mostly Oberyn.
And
Yep.
then now we're going back and we're kind of seeing this kind of culture, and it's like, oh yeah, these people are very Oberyn-like. You can see that this is like where he comes from, kind of thing. Like they're not the same as him, but you can feel the kind of weight of his absence too, which is kind of cool.
Right, definitely. And so basically, we didn't get much with Dorne this episode. We
Hmm.
got like obviously Oberyn's girlfriend, his lover. She wants revenge for what happened to Oberyn. And the thing is, they have Cersei Lannister's daughter, who
Yeah,
promised to marry a prince or whatever of Dorne.
that's Oberyn's nephew, I believe.
Yep. And she wants to kill her and send her back to Cersei as revenge for what happened. And you got Oberyn's brother, who is the ruler of Dorne,
In a medieval wheelchair.
in a medieval wheelchair. And he's like, no, that's not how we do things. That's not how I'm gonna do things.
Yeah,
Because,
we
you
don't
know,
kill children here, which was something that Oberyn implied before as well when
right.
when he was talking to Cersei and he said, she was like, they do things to little girls everywhere or something, and
Yep,
yeah.
yep. So you got him. He's being because you got to think, he's probably just as upset by what happened as she is, but
Hmm.
he's thinking with a level head, with with as a ruler, what he has to do for his country and his people, rather than just thinking what he wants to do. So he probably wants to do the same thing, truth be told.
Yeah, but
Like
I don't know if he'd want to do the same thing. He wants revenge, I'm sure.
he wants revenge, sure. And
Yeah.
so, you know, but that was like very ominous at the end when he said, for as long as I am ruler, and then she said, well, we'll see how long that is, or something like that. And it was like,
The Game of Thrones has come to Dorne.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The contagious backstabbing.
so that so that so that's like foreshadowing to me. That's like, oh well, something's gonna happen to this guy, I guess.
So yeah, we got to see just a little bit of that. I don't think we got to see any of the sand snakes yet, which
No.
is that's kind of what, is that's kind of what I think everyone's excited about. They showed a lot of them in the Comic-Con reel where they announced the new cast members. We haven't really seen many of the new cast members they announced at all because we haven't seen High Sparrow yet either, who
No.
is being played by Jonathan Pryce, and I believe the next episode is called High Sparrow. So
Okay.
that should be our introduction to him. We got to kind of see a little bit of the Sparrows. We got to see Cersei's cousin slash fellow bed thing
Yep, yep, yep.
slash
Well,
Jamie
well,
Fillon.
yeah,
um, and he's part of this religious sect now as well.
yep,
So it's going to be kind of interesting. From the previews we've seen, it looks like they're really kind of going in this direction of, with both Dany and with High Sparrow, of like the idea of these homes and their trappings of power and wealth that they've built over all this time and how it's kind of crushing people beneath.
yep, yep.
And kind of like the eventual result of that, which is similar, I guess, in the real world to like what's going on with like the Arab Spring right now, with all these kind of entrenched, powerful families now being kind of overthrown by people, by citizens, and there's other politics there, which I'm sure there's going to be in this as well, where
Yeah.
maybe the High Sparrow isn't so benevolent,
Da-
and has his own reasons.
Daenerys did not have a good episode this week. She
No.
she had a pretty bad episode. She was actually put into a very tough, very difficult situation to where
Hmm.
they caught this guy. They caught one of those golden
Sons of the Harpies,
sons of
or
the harpy. They caught one of these sons of the harpy guys, and she was just gonna execute him. But then her advisor argued that he should have a fair trial, democracy, all this, and he made a very compelling argument to her, where he basically told her, you don't want to end up like your dad. This is how your dad acted. You don't want to be like that. And that convinced her. And so she
yeah.
have a fair trial, And then one of her Unsullied, uh, decided to take it upon himself to kill this guy and get revenge. And he thought that would make her happy. And now she's put into this position, where she decided what they were going to do. He disobeyed her commands, and now she has to punish him. And in
Yeah.
doing that, she completely pisses off all the Unsullied, all the freed slaves that she had on her side, and then she started a riot.
Well, I
And
don't think it was the guy that killed
oh,
the prisoner. He wasn't Unsullied. He was just one of the slaves from that city.
oh, okay, yeah, okay,
and the Unsullied were still with her because they made that like shield um, barricade
Yes,
to
that's
protect
true.
her.
Yeah, they made
Uh,
that shield barricade to protect her from like all
but
the stone throwing.
yeah, but it seems like
Yeah,
she's lost the love of the people of the city who started hissing at her.
yeah, she lost the love of the people of the city, and so now like the freed people and the former masters, they're all going at it with each other now. It's a mess.
I wonder if this is going to be the setup for showing Tyrion's usefulness.
I
If
think
because he's
so because that was like
because he's kind of on his way there now. And if you think about it, it's similar the kind of like hatred that's going on there to like what was going on in season 2 of Game of Thrones when he was there, and like they
yeah
had that like riot kind of scene where like Joffrey was attacked with like had what shit thrown at him or something,
yeah
and then
yeah.
freaked out and got all violent and
I think so. I think you're right. They're going to show that as why they need Tyrion there because that was a very delicate situation, and even though Daenerys was trying to handle it the best she could in probably the most fair way she could think to handle it, it still turned out bad for her. It turned out awful. And so I think that's going to be like where, Tyrion would come in and say, well, what I would have advised you to do.
I think Daenerys' problem right now is that she has all these advisors that are giving her advice. Some of them really good advice. Some of them like, maybe okay, but nobody's really standing up to her that strongly. And
Right.
I think that's Tyrion has no concerns about that. He's showing that he'll put himself right at risk and say what needs to be said.
Yeah.
And it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see if
Tyrion,
she listens.
Tyrion says exactly what's on his mind to whoever he wants to, and he has never backed down from anybody on that. And so, yeah, that's what I think. And I think that will be fun when that happens because Daenerys is not used to that. She's
Yeah.
used to everybody being afraid of her, being a little afraid of her. Tyrion's
Or
not
just
going
being in
to,
love with her.
or just being in love with her. Yeah,
I
Tyrion is.
saw I saw a funny series of pictures I wanted to bring up real quick. It was some funny memes. It was the first one. It showed I had a picture of Jorah, and it said, "Welcome to the friend zone. I'll be your guide."
Oh yeah.
And and then the next picture is a picture of Oberyn, and it said, "What in the seven hells is the friend zone?"
Oh, that's good.
Two opposite characters there.
That's that's another thing. We haven't seen Jorah this season. You know what happened? He was cast out of
We saw
Daenerys.
him in, I think, the
You know.
first trailer that leaked, the one that was attached to the IMAX things. Didn't we see him like in? It looked like he was in like the Coliseum kind of thing, which must be those fighting pits they're talking about.
Okay, I don't remember actually, but
I
as
think
far
we
as
saw him.
I mean, I'm sure he's coming. He's gonna show up again. But yeah, we haven't seen him yet.
Yeah. Hmm. Um. Yeah. We mentioned Tyrion coming with this, so he's riding along with Varys right now towards Dany. So that's just kind of a matter of time, I guess. That's
Yeah,
gonna be. I wonder how long they're gonna delay that though.
I hope they don't
Because
drag
that's the exciting moment I think a lot of people are waiting for.
right now.
What
Right
was
now,
that?
I hope they don't drag it out. Right now, those scenes are kind of boring. It's just Tyrion and Varys going at it, back and forth, and it's kind of like, oh, okay, make something happen. I'm just waiting for them to get there.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we saw this. There's a scene in the trailer where it looks like he was seeing dragons.
Mhm.
I think that was on a boat or something. So I imagine since he was kind of in a box the whole time on that boat, that this will be
They're really building
um,
up the
the
dragon,
town they're arriving in. They're probably going to take a boat to Marine from there or something.
right? they're really playing up the dragons this season more so than they have before. Like the first episode,
Yeah.
towards the end, they had the scene with her dragons. This time, the episode ended with Drogon, the missing dragon. He came and he had a moment with Daenerys before he flew off, and then the credits rolled, you know. And so
I think that was cool because it was almost like it was Drogon's way of saying like, I'm still your child, I'm just
yeah,
not your slave kind of
it's
thing,
not your
like I'm not gonna do what you say, but I'm still your child kind of thing.
yeah, yep, definitely. I thought that was really cool. And so, and then what else happened this episode? Yeah, there was a Jon Snow. Um,
Yeah, the new Knight Commander.
yeah,
Or Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. Like that's the title,
new
right? Lord
Lord
Commander.
Commander
Yeah.
Night's Watch. Yeah, definitely.
And he was offered
Stannis,
Jon Stark as well.
yeah, Stannis made him a very tempting offer. Jon Stark, Lord of Winterfell. You know,
Yeah.
which is way beyond what somebody of his status could ever hope to achieve. That's
Yeah.
actually impossible for somebody of his status. I mean, he can never rightfully be Lord of Winterfell, but Stannis off said, if you bring North to my side, I'll make you Lord of, Winterfell. And, but being a true Stark that he is, Jon is honest almost to a fault.
Yeah.
Where he said, if I swore an oath to Night's Watch, if I break these vows, then my word is nothing. How can I be Lord of Winterfell then if my word is nothing?
Yeah.
And, yeah. So he turned.
That's the Jon Snow we expect, and I
Yeah.
like the election scene. I like that it kind of came out of nowhere for him. He had no idea what
I
was
know.
going on, and he looked kind of upset when Sam started doing it. He's like, "Oh fuck!" It's like when you're like I imagine it being like you're like out in a public place and you have a friend with you and your friend's drunk and like being really loud, and that's kind of like the look he had on his face. He's like, "Oh fuck, just shut up."
I know. Just shut up. Yeah, I know.
But now he's Lord Commander, so worked out for him, I guess.
Yeah, right. That's
But
good.
who knows what kind of bullshit politics are going to come into play now?
Oh yeah, geez. Now that he's in a role, he's got to have to deal with BS politics, which we'll see how he does that because he's not used to dealing with politics. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was always a man of action.
a man of action and somber faces.
And somber faces, yes. Being shot by your girlfriend with an arrow or two.
So he knows nothing of politics, I guess I could say.
Yeah. Nothing of politics, Jon Snow.
It'll be interesting to see how they play with that. I want to see how it's going to work with Stannis there, because it looks like Stannis, he came kind of to save the wall, and now he's almost like treating it as like, well, now that I saved the wall, I guess the Night's Watch is mine.
Yeah. He's acting like he's already king, and he rules that place.
Yeah, but that's the weird thing is that kings never ruled the Night's Watch. That was always kind of its own thing. So I'm wondering what's going to happen with that. Plus, I mean, we've been waiting for the White Walkers to attack since their big unveil of like their troops in season 2.
I still think that's a ways off. That might actually be towards the end of the season.
Yeah, or the end of the series.
Yeah, at the end of the series.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a while before we actually kind of see White Walkers again. I'm hoping we see something this season, but
I think we'll get something this season. I think we might even get something in like the season finale.
Yeah.
Like probably a big thing in the season finale.
Or the episode 9. They always
I
do
hope
the
we get
major
more
events.
Bran. I think I hope we get more of Bran Stark and what's going on with that.
When he's not in this season,
Okay.
the actor who plays Hodor mentioned that he and the actor who plays Bran Stark aren't in this season at all.
Okay, so
So
they're not gonna follow up on that. Like,
no, no, not this season. They're caught up to the books and the events with his character already.
oh, okay, so they don't have any more.
Yeah, well, I mean, the showrunners, they know where it's going. They've already talked
Yeah,
to George
George
about
R. R.
it.
Martin.
But yeah, I guess they probably don't want to put anything into action yet.
Probably not.
Um, so yeah, they're kind of doing their own things right now. The guy who plays Hodor is like DJing at raves, doing like a rave tour or something called Rave of Thrones.
Rave of Thrones. That's awesome.
He just like plays techno for a few minutes, stops it, and goes Hodor, and then starts playing it again. But yeah, let's talk about Sansa. So Sansa is probably my least favorite character on the show. It probably still is. Not a big fan of hers. But you gotta
Oh,
kind of start to feel bad for Brienne. This is like two Stark girls in a row.
to be honest, this was more about Brienne than
Yeah.
Sansa, which I find Brienne to be a more interesting character anyway. Much more interesting character than Sansa Stark. But yeah, she's been turned down by both the Stark girls.
She really needs a win because she's had nothing but losses.
She's had
When we
yeah,
first meet her, she's like swearing herself to what's his name?
Renly
Stannis' little brother,
Baratheon.
Renly, yeah, to Renly Baratheon. Watches him get killed in front of her. Gets basically framed for that. Swears herself to to God, to Catelyn Stark.
Catelyn Stark.
Catelyn sends her on a mission, then Catelyn dies.
Yes.
Tries, miraculously encounters Arya, has like a great little moment with her where they kind of share their kind of tomboyish pride for a second. Then he gets snubbed by her. Miraculously runs into Sansa and gets snubbed by her. Who's left? Rickon? You know?
Yeah, who's left? Rickon? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, she needs a win badly.
She does. Well, apparently she is determined that she is going to get Sansa Stark back. Because unlike with Arya, who she
Mhm.
realized this was Arya's decision, I guess she's under the impression that Sansa turned her away under duress because she's with Littlefinger,
Yeah.
who is not a trustworthy and nice person. So Brienne's thinking, well, Sansa is obviously been kidnapped. She's under duress. She
I
needs to save her from this guy and bring her back.
I am miraculously disappointed with Sansa this season,
Yeah.
and that just says a lot because I never liked her character. I always kind of found her obnoxious, and
Well,
I
she hasn't
hated.
really done anything, right?
Yeah,
I think she's accepted. Like, I think she's accepted her situation where she is. I think she's accepted Littlefinger and accepted this is it.
well, the thing is, last season it looked like, oh, she's gonna start playing the game, and that was kind of everyone's like, ooh, Dark Sansa when she came down in the dress and she had dyed her hair, and it was like,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
she's gonna do it now. She's gonna play the game. She finally learned something. Now it looks like she was just playing dress up to me. Like she was, dressing like somebody who was playing the game, but not actually doing it, because she looks like she's still kind of just doing whatever Littlefinger says and not really, thinking
Right.
beyond that. So I'm just disappointed with that character just because I was kind of like, oh, maybe they'll finally do something with her. It's like, no, at least not yet.
At least not yet. I think
Ah.
I think it might be building to that, but not yet.
And so, what else happened this episode?
We had a few scenes with Cersei. Cersei stacking her council with sycophants, manipulating people like she always does. You know,
Yeah,
trying to say, now that her father's dead, her father was like her biggest opposition, when he
yeah.
was alive to getting things, doing things her way. So she's thinking, now her father's gone, she can run the count, she can do things the way he wants them done,
She's
and
all
have
finally,
her.
I can crash this entire kingdom into the ground in one foul swoop.
Yes, exactly. And
Finally, nobody's gonna stop me from making horrendous choices.
and she mostly succeeds with that. She surrounds herself with all these people who are easily manipulated, are easily going to be yes men to her,
Yeah,
except for her uncle, who who is very much has that independent streak that his brother had, who sees through it and is like, no, I'm not going to be a part of this. I want to talk to the actual king. I don't want to talk to you.
yeah,
you know, and,
yeah. He's done playing games with Cersei. He's like, yeah, I
yeah,
know what you're all about.
yeah, I know what you're all about. Yeah,
So let's see here. What else we got here besides our Cersei time?
Cersei died, and Cersei's brother Jaime is going to Dorne.
Yeah, and
Mentioned.
he's taking another fan favorite with him.
Yep,
That was a great scene. I
that
loved
was.
before he ran into Jamie when he's walking with her and he's talking about like people like that they happen to get what's coming to them or something.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Mean
yeah, okay,
people
he's
get
gonna
what's
kill
coming
this
to
woman.
them. Yeah,
He's gonna kill this woman so the woman he marries inherits and then he inherits.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And you can just see how naive that girl is. She
Oh
just
yeah, it's
doesn't.
like she's so mean. And he's like, well, mean people have a tendency of getting what's coming to them. The wheels turning in his head because he's gonna murder her sister to get that castle.
Probably her too.
Yeah, probably her too.
Because he doesn't really give a shit about her.
No, he doesn't.
So that was pretty funny, yeah. And then when they run into Jamie Lannister, and yeah, and then how quickly he's like, "Oh yeah, okay, fine, I'll abandon her. You were gonna promise me a better bride and better castle.
Yeah, right,
I'm out of
right.
here." Yeah. So yeah, his relationship with her is pretty much over. So.
Yeah, that's done. Oh well. Oh no, one of the great loves of all time.
They'll write songs about it.
I write songs about it, yes.
Oh man. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened in Game of Thrones, episode 2 of season 5. I am excited for episode 3. I didn't get to see any scenes from it because the copy I had didn't have them, so I haven't watched them yet. Did
Good.
you watch the scenes for next week?
Um, I did, but I don't remember anything. I watched the preview and I'm like, so we'll see it next week. Definitely. I'm looking forward to it. Looking
Looks like
forward
we
to it.
get to meet the High Sparrow.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because that's the name of the episode. Arrow.
Or they're just going to talk about him a lot.
Well, yeah, right?
It'll be like Kingpin. He'll show up at the very end, or and then he'll
So.
slam someone's head in the car door, and everyone will go, "What the hell is that four-wheeled thing? Where did it come from?" So yeah, I think my reaction so far to this season of Game of Thrones has been a little bit lukewarm. I have to remind myself though that I think every season's kind of started a bit slow. I thinking back to even like the first season. I remember like the first episode was pretty good because it was introducing everything, but then like the second and third and like I think even fourth or something episodes were just really like nothing going on. It was just like, oh look, they're traveling down the road still, you know. So even though there wasn't a lot going on, I feel like it's going to get that point again where everything starts kind of clicking together, and you start getting kind of like the real big kind of moments going through. I think just seeing Arya in the House of Black and White is going to be pretty exciting.
Right.
Um,
That's next episode.
I think we'll probably see the Sand Snakes probably next episode as well. I'm sure they'll show us them fairly soon.
Definitely. Yeah, it's always like with Game of Thrones. It's always kind of a slow burn into like, and then setting events into motion, and then stuff happens, and then you get like the holy crap moments. It's all built up to that.
So they sent out 4 episodes to reviewers, and that's what leaked. So my guess is that episode 4 is probably going to end on like a holy shit moment, because even though it sounds like 4 episodes for a screener is kind of normal, I know before they've sent like 7 or 6 or something like that, and it's almost always because something big happened right at the end of that last episode that kind of gets you excited, and they didn't want to show beyond that. So I'm thinking something's going to happen probably the end of the 4th episode. That's going to kind of, things are going to start really moving at that point, and then we're going to be like okay, fifth episode. Where's the 5th episode at that point? So
right. The thing about Game of Thrones is it's only 10 episodes per season, and so by the end of it, it feels like it wasn't enough. You're always left wanting.
Yeah.
By the end of it. I think last season actually started around the 2nd or 3rd episode with a holy crap moment, which was Joffrey dying.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It happened at the end of the 2nd episode.
They actually had like 2 of them in that season, the Joffrey scene and then the scene over in the mountain.
Yeah. God. Oh God, that scene still just like rips my heart out.
Please. I'm trying to wonder what the holy crap moment of this season will be so far. I don't have any good ideas. But
is that a wild elephant charging us? Oh my God, it's a tank! Why is there a tank in Westeros? Why do we know what a tank is? It's going to be Stannis with his army battalion. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on? Oh my word.
So yeah, I'm excited to see what we're going to get. I know from what I've been hearing, they're already making pretty huge diversions from the book. So it's going to be interesting to see when they start doing things that are going to spoil it for the book readers. Because we know that's probably coming. It's been kind of announced that they're going to be doing things that didn't happen in the books, and that some of those things are things that are going to happen in the books, most likely. So.
Right. Definitely.
So that pretty much brings us to an end here. So we'll see everybody again next week, and we're going to do a podcast this week as well, which should be up on Friday if I keep up my regular pace I've been doing for the last couple weeks. But no podcast next week. But Will and I and a former staffer have something kind of planned that we'll be able to surprise you with coming the week after that.
Hopefully it will be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So goodbye everybody.
Bye.